What I don't like about this code so far is that these two lines repeat. And anytime you have lines that repeat in a code base, it's a pretty good indication that those repeating lines could be extracted into their own function or method or what have you. So I'm going to do that here. I'm going to create a new function called random number. And then I'm going to take this, just copy it, paste it in there, and have this be what's returned or sent out from that function. Just making sure my parentheses are lined up. Okay, that looks good. And now I can say random number here, and I can do the same thing down there. And that dries up my code considerably, and it still works perfectly fine. So that's nice. But one thing that would be even nicer is I don't really like that this 10 is hard-coded in here. Maybe I want to be able to change the difficulty of this Math Minute app so that it uses bigger numbers. I don't really like that 10 is just hard-coded in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name of this function to random number up to maximum number. So what I'll be entering in is something like random number up to 10, and then random number up to 10. And then I don't have to have this magic number 10 hard-coded in here. Replace that with maximum, and there we go. I like that much better. Now this particular function is much more reusable. I can reuse it for any maximum number, not just 10. So that's a pretty good start. But I know that down the road, one more efficiency I can make is taking this entire chunk of code that generates these math problems and extracting that into being its own function as well. That's because I'm going to be making many math problems, and I would have to do something like just copy and paste that 60 times if I wanted 60 math problems, and I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is say function, how about generate problem, something like that. And then I'll take all of these guys and I'll just put them right into that generate problem function. Okay, so now I should be able to just say generate problem, and that still works perfectly fine. In order to have it do this 60 times, I'm going to change this just a little bit more. There are still sort of these magic numbers in here. And when I say magic number, I mean these numbers that are just sort of hard-coded into this function. Right now, this function isn't super reusable. It's only usable inside this app. It's always going to generate random numbers up to 10, and it's always going to try to append them to this thing with the class of board. But maybe I want to use it for something that doesn't have the class of board. Maybe I want to use a number bigger than 10. So I'm also going to put this maximum thing in here. And then instead of doing the actual appending right in this function, I'm just going to have it return the HTML that I'm going to want to be appending to this page. So now this is going to be a little bit different. Instead of doing just generate random problem, it's going to be generate random problem up to 10. That's where I specify the maximum number that I want. And then this is going to return this HTML down here. So if I want to append it to my board div, I'm going to need to do board.append generate random problem or generate problem. I like random problem better. Maybe I'll change it to that. There we go. Okay, so now that's still working fine. And I'm going to want 60 of these guys. So I'm going to say var total problems. That should be 60. And then var problem number. And I'm setting it up in this way because then I can do while problem number is less than total problems, run this line of code. And I'll have an infinite loop if I don't remember to make problem number go up by 1 each time. Okay, I'm liking this so far because it's looking very nice and neat and very reusable. And if I refresh the page, I get 60 random math problems. Pretty nice. So I will say that this generates any number of random addition problems.